So welcome to the kids collection. By now you have your samples, and I just wanted to share first a few tips for helping to introduce these oils to the kids if you haven't already. In my experience, kids can be resistant to trying new things sometimes, or they feel a little intimidated or scared. So what I found works really well is to put one of your little rollers on your own wrist. And with these little sample rollers, you do sometimes have to give them a bit of a go. So you can either use the light to see if anything's coming out, or you can smell it. So if you can smell it, then you know that there's some oil there, okay? So get a little bit going on your own wrist. And sometimes if you do this in front of them, just their natural curiosity is like, oh, mommy, what's that? And if they're not, then just ask, say, here, do you want to smell mommy's wrist? You know, as opposed to going up to them and being like, here, and coming at them with something that they've never seen before, right? This unknown object with this smell attached to it. And I mean, it's natural for kids to have that instinctive protective response, right? Like, don't come at me with this strange, weird thing. So I do find if you put it on yourself first and ask them if they want to smell it on you, then that again initiates their natural curiosity. You know, what's mommy doing? What are these new things? And they're a little bit more curious than if you straight away try to just put it on them. I've had kids be afraid of oils, right? Even if you say, oh, like, I'll give you an example. So a little girl one time when we were up at the cottage had mosquito bites, and they were really, really bad and really bothering her. And we had some lavender to put on them. But when we offered to help her by putting, a magic potion on her, she was super scared and super shy and super timid, and we had to turn it into like a fun game of like, we're gonna paint it on with a paintbrush, right? Because we approached it as, here, we're gonna put this on you, versus, oh, I'm using this for my mosquito bites and it works really well, right? So that would just be my tip. If your kids are, super brave and this is not an issue, then awesome, you're very lucky. But if they tend to be a little bit intimidated or shy about new things, which I think is very common and normal, then try putting the oils on yourself first and allowing them to explore them that way before we begin putting them on them. Once you've overcome that initial, introduction, then the best places to apply for the kids for the first few times is on their feet. Okay, so that's a great absorption site. One, because, it's away from their faces and they're not gonna like have their feet in their mouth or, do anything weird with them. So bedtime is a great time, but also if you put them on like in the morning or during the day, then if you slip the socks on or whatever, if they're running around, the oils absorb relatively quickly into the bottoms of their feet. So that's a great absorption point. Another great place to apply for kids is along the back of the spine. Okay, so right up and down the spine. Great way to support the body, the entire body that way, right? All of our nerve endings and everything run along our spine. And back of the neck. As well, if they're really into them and they love them, put it on their wrists and teach them, when they have oils on their wrist, to smell their wrist and take a few deep breaths. So I teach this with adults as well, and it's a really great way to anchor and reinforce the aromatic properties of the oils as well as the topical use. So when we inhale an essential oil, it creates changes in our chemistry and physiology within about 20 seconds. Okay, it's traveled into our brain and signaled responses to balance the body within a very, very short time. So I always encourage them to smell after they put it on, and you can teach them to take deep breaths, and that's another overall great habit to teach them. A lot of times when they need oils, it's in a situation where they're stressed or anxious or cranky, or just need some emotional support or physical support. So again, anchoring that habit with some deep breaths is a really great habit to develop and reinforce with them. So just that little note on how to introduce and apply the oils, and then the future videos will work on each individual oil. Okay, have a great day, guys. Talk to you soon.